I have had the most magical, amazing 3 days, more than your brain can actually cope with. Incredibly overwhelming, so much to see and do, and I am thrilled that was in the room for some of the things that we have heard over the last 3 days. Incredible.
So there's a lot to talk about. The main focus I'm thinking about today is the parks panel, of course. That's the big one. We
Yes.
want to talk about it. But before we get to that, I'm talking about a few things. First of all, you met Wally. Like, a lot of people dream of meeting Wally, and you met him. Like, how was that?
It was amazing. I had seen a clip from about 6 years ago, so I knew that Disney, the Imagineering team, had this technology to create this robot, and I had dreamed about meeting him. And then I'd seen a clip that he actually was at D23, and I was like, where can I find him? And I was going to security, and just before security yesterday morning, there he was with his little noises and doing his art and his claw, waving goodbye to people. And oh, for some people they won't understand, but when you
Sure.
see a character come to life in the way Wally did, oh yeah, a
I, be-
highlight,
I
absolute
believe it.
highlight.
I really believe it. It looked really cool. The picture looked great. I want to meet him one day. I really do. But and the Moon Knight costume you saw so much cool stuff. Like Walt's plane. Did you get to play with that? There was like that frame where you could like draw Mickey with the wand and all that.
No, I saw where that was today. That was in the Step in Time. That was Disney Archives. So it was in there. The line was incredibly long. And I think, being from the UK, probably not as significant to me, but I know the line was incredibly long just to do this Disney Channel thing. And it was a photo op. So it was getting emailed straight to people's inboxes when they did it, this magical shot. So I did see where it was, yes.
Okay. All right. So, okay, parks panel's coming in a second, but first of all, favorite thing outside of the parks panel, because you did a lot of really cool ones. The Marvel stuff, you did it all. You did it right. And eventually, I'm going to get to D23, but I want to know your favorite thing from the outside the parks piece.
Outside the parks panel, I mean, Wally is up there.
Okay.
I've
Well,
got to
okay. That's what I
say,
figured. Yeah.
got to say, being in the movies panel, actually hearing about the movie that's coming for next year, Wish, the concept is so beautiful. So many characters that have wished upon a star, and now we're going to hear the story of that star. So to have then stars raining down upon you after that, I think being in the room. I tell you what was cool. Yesterday I was in the panel for 30 years of Muppet Christmas Carol.
I saw some like behind the scenes of that where you actually see them up at like people doing it.
Yes, so we
Yeah.
saw the puppeteers, although, me being a big child, you try and ignore that they're there. But no, they got credit yesterday. But what was really cool is hearing Brian Henson talk about the making of that. And it was the first movie after his dad had died. And he wasn't sure if maybe even he could do it. But Paul Williams was there talking about the music. They had the costume designer. And then for me, who loves The Little Mermaid, surprise Jodie Benson came out to sing Love Is Gone.
That's cool.
I wasn't expecting that. So Jodie Benson, in the parks panel, obviously we've had another Disney princess today. So seeing the people on the, in the panels, on the floor, the Disney community and who you can come into contact with at these events, they're right there. I think a highlight today is I got to meet Josh D'Amaro, who,
Great picture with him, by the way. That was a great picture with him.
Thank you. You have to just grab these pictures on the floor. But I met Imagineers. Yesterday I met Bob Gurr, who
That's
is
cool.
Disney legend.
He is.
Very sweet man.
I love it.
Things are going to come to me.
You're
many
fine.
highlights.
You don't have to think of it all right now. You're good. I was just because you did so much, and I saw kind of secondhand from what you were posting and sharing with all of us was so cool. So now kind of shifting to the parks panel, which is kind of the highlight of today.
Yes.
And there's so much that came out of it, and I'm really excited about a lot of it. We're going to talk about the details of it, but just you were sitting in the room. You were there in the moment when these things were announced and just dropped right in front of you. Things that a lot of us had dreamed about for a long time. And then you're there and it just kind of happens right in front of you. You've seen it online. So you've watched it online with me before. You've done it before this way. Tell us about the difference between being online and watching it through that, which is a stream, which is great. Love doing it. But versus being sitting there as it's announced.
Oh, there's nothing like it. You feel it when you're watching it online. Your constant feeling is, oh, I wish I was there. Or these performances. the atmosphere
Mhm.
and the anticipation, you know, a screen will come up and say, oh, right now we're going to talk Disneyland, and everyone go, woo, now we're going to talk Disney World. A smidgen of music. I mean, they started that panel, they opened it, and I heard Happily Ever After.
Yep.
And then I heard Jordan Fisher's voice, and then all of a sudden you realize he's actually there. And then your brain, as a Parks fan, you go, no way. Are they just doing this to be nice? This can't mean anything.
Yep.
No, you don't dream of it. And then they announce it, and you know, I sobbed. I just like,
I know.
It's happening. It's happening. Being in the room, I think, just knowing that all the executives are there, the ambassadors are in there, presidents from parks around the world.
Yep.
That room is so massive. No one, if you haven't been in the room, you can't imagine the scope. It seats 7,000 people. I've been fortunate enough to be in there 3 times this weekend. So it's the scale of it, I think, is what really grabs you. It's the scale of it. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming next. That's kind of what I like, you know, the rumors and predictions. But you actually, when you're sitting there, you don't dream that they might say it or do it. You never know who's going to come out on stage. And so being there today was just the biggest thrill, biggest thrills.
That's
to
awesome.
feel everyone's excitement.
Yeah, and that's, I think, kind of ties to some of the, like, when you go to openings of attractions, you feel that, I'm guessing it's the same level of excitement where it's like everybody's all of a sudden hyped up for the same moment, and you can feel it from everyone around you. But instead of like a couple, maybe we get a few thousand for rides, but in that convention center, everybody's packed in together, and just like you can feel it in a more kind of compact way, which is pretty cool. I'm going to skip to one of the more exciting pieces of this, which was when they did the blue sky and that ending part. And I could almost feel it from the audience, even streaming thousands of miles away. You could feel this hype, this, oh my gosh, here it comes. Here comes the drop. And then they make it to the end and you're like, wait, so what is it again? How was the feeling on the floor?
Yeah, it was, obviously they said Dino Land.
Right.
So when Zootopia came up, we went, oh my gosh, this is it. And of course, then they went, actually, what's behind Big Thunder Mountain?
Right.
Actually, you know, there's this. And they brought up Avatar at one point. I'm like, are they going to do an expansion of Avatar in Animal Kingdom?
Right.
And everyone was like, where is this going? Where is this going? My brain went, okay, is this virtual world that we've been talking about? Are they putting this all in a virtual world? You know, because they're saying, what if you can see behind Thunder Mountain? My brain went, okay, is this going to be a virtual world? Is this their big technology announcement? No, it wasn't. Is it this? Is it this? And the conclusion I drew from it is, obviously nothing is confirmed. Rumors went wild online, Twitter. Nothing was confirmed.
Every rumor in the book I've seen. It's like, oh, there's a 5th gate. There's this. There's an expansion. There's no expansion.
That was my other thought, was where they were putting all these announcements. When they put it up on the wall, I was like, is this their way of, are they going to announce a 5th gate and throw it all this into a 5th gate? My conclusion was, because Josh D'Amaro said at the beginning of the panel, you know we got some things wrong. We want to make it right.
Right.
I wonder if this was his way of saying to the fans, we hear you. We know you love these ideas. We're going to be open with you now about what we're working on. We're not going to confirm any of it, but this is the thought process. This is what takes years. We're going to share, you know, so without confirming anything, we know you want this. We're trying to figure it out, where it might go, etc. I mean, I would love an interactive casitas from Encanto.
Oh my gosh, I want to ride on the back of that dragon thing. I already forgotten the name, but I want to do that. I want to be in those experiences. Everything they talked about was exactly what we were asking for. But here's another thought. As I got to the end of this, it felt to me like this was the start of a new Disney era. They were saying to us in that moment, and let me know if you felt the same way on the floor. You know what? We did some stuff wrong. As you said, we made mistakes. We didn't listen to you. We made some mistakes, and we, you know, through the closures and all that. And now we see it, we understand, and Epic Universe is coming, and we want to make sure that we keep you guys around and we value you. And I mean, I feel like it's a new era for Disney that they kind of are trying to announce here.
Yes. I mean, I think Disney rightly needs to be careful, because when you look at how long it's been from announcing Tron to the opening date, they don't want to get everyone's hopes up, and everyone's going, well, it's 5 years later, where is it?
And where's the train? Where's the train?
Right, there was so many announcements missing,
Right.
but at the same time, they are saying, no, we are going to share this with you. So I think it's them meeting halfway. You know, we can't confirm anything, but we're going there, and we're gonna. This is our thank you to you, the fans. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you this.
This little nugget. Okay. And it's a great way to put it. I mean, you can't put a villain's land behind Big Thunder Mountain. Like what? Like no. It doesn't make any sense. Like none of that made any sense. Instead, it was just meant as you perfectly said it. It's hello, we see you, we understand it, and we're ready to kind of make changes to make things even better for everybody. So
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I think it's going to be good. There were a couple of things that, as you've just touched on it, which is great, which were left out of the announcements. Did you feel, so I'm thinking of the train, I'm thinking of more exact dates for a few things, nothing super serious, just like
Yep.
small things that a couple of us were expecting, more information about the 100-year anniversary, those kind of things that were left out.
Yes.
Was there a feeling as everyone was leaving the room saying like, oh, okay, that was great, loved it, a lot of energy, a lot of fun, but we're missing something?
You couldn't feel it in the room, but I tell you, I was taking notes in my phone as it was going in case I needed to talk about, not particularly with you, but
Right.
for my own
I
reference.
took notes too.
Yeah, and when I looked down the list at the end, I went, oh,
Yeah.
there's not a lot there. You know, it's especially where Disney World is concerned. And what was interesting, I know the president of Disneyland Paris was here, so I was expecting they touched on Paris, but there's more property around the lake. I thought they were going to do. There was just things, and I went, oh,
Yeah.
okay. They could have been more here. I won't get into Fantasmic. Apparently, that date was put out online. I don't trust it because I haven't heard it from Disney.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I just don't know. I know people want the train back. There was just certain things. The new projects they did announce. I mean, Tokyo has lucked out.
Big
But
time.
yes, I felt things were missing, and they could have done more. Yes, so
Yeah.
I did get that feeling in reflection when you calm down.
Right. That's always what it is. I go and do a ride, and I'm just like, my mind is blown, and I'm running around, best thing ever, and then I have a minute to calm down, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Like that's how I'm guessing. Okay, glad to hear it was the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool. I love that. Now they shared some of the earliest things. You saw Mando and Grogu on the stage, and you saw time traveling Hulk. Tell me about that.
Yes, that was excited. I mean,
Cool.
it's exciting when Kevin Feige appears. Something good's about to happen. Mark Ruffalo interrupting. It was so cool when he said about more green, and I thought, oh, what's happening with Hulk? Okay, something's happening with Hulk. For this thing to appear, I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge. You could see it next to their height. You know,
Yeah.
this thing is so incredibly tall. It looks like it's 7 foot tall.
Wow.
This Hulk. And yes, Grogu. I mean, we all just
we lost it.
yeah. Yeah. But poor Mando, we're all like, Grogu.
I know. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. I mean, I want him at Walt Disney World, and I have a feeling eventually he'll come there, but they mentioned it more than once, like limited time. Like, so this is not meant to be forever. And so it's one of those things that Disneyland does have over Disney World for sure, is more of those characters. And so that, they'll continue to have that for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of characters, though, we're getting somebody who I'm very excited about. Figment. I'm actually. So here's my thing. Would you rather have It's a bad choice, a bad comment, but would you rather have Mando or Figment to meet? If you don't, I know it's terrible. It's awful. It's bad. Shouldn't have said it. But I'm really happy we have Figment, but I hope we see Mando at our Star Wars. That's me.
Mandalorian season 3 is coming.
I
I got a really good sneak peek that no one can see. Sorry. So Mando season 3 is coming. I am confident that we are going to see these characters in Disney World's Galaxy's Edge. I'm convinced.
You think so? Okay.
Me personally, as much as I would love to interact with Grogu, for me it's Figment. It is. It's my childhood. I remember Figment from years ago. I think if you are a Disney World aficionado and Epcot, Figment, the nostalgia of it means more. If you are a general fan coming into this and you have no affiliation, you have no special bond with this, you're going to be like, Eh.
Yeah, who's this? Who's this dragon? I've heard people. I've walked by the golden statue at Epcot, and people call it, "Oh, that's that." They say, like, "Oh, that's that dragon from Pete's Dragon." I'm like, "Oh gosh, don't say anything. Keep walking. Don't say anything." So, but yeah, no, I agree. It's more for those like long-term fans, which I think kind of speaks to this change of an era that I felt, even though we didn't get all the announcements that we want, and there are obvious ones too. There's like because the DVC building for Polynesian, I've been watching it go. It has made more progress in a couple weeks than Tron made for years. It was really impressive how fast that's coming together, and that could have been an easy, like another chip in the block. They say they've already got it going. They've already got money into it. Why not talk about it? That's the part I don't get.
Yeah. Actually, what was interesting, if you think about it, the panel should have covered resorts as well. And I think there was only one mention of a hotel, which is going to be this Pixar hotel here in California.
Right.
I didn't hear anything about resorts. I didn't hear anything about DVC particularly.
Right. That was odd. That was very, I don't know. It felt like a little bit of a different D23. They weren't going through the facts quite as fast. They were trying to stretch it out just a bit, which was just unique. And I don't think it had as many things to talk about, but that could have been an easy win in their cap. They could have just gone into more detail, just shared another render image of the Polynesian. You know, they've got them. Like that's an easy win. I don't know. That part I don't get, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
We got a new ride coming spring 2023, Tron Lightcycle Power. I'm excited about that. And then of course, one other big announcement was the Disney Treasure, which is going to be very exciting. And as a world traveler yourself, Claire, will you be joining all of us as we go to Fiji and Australia on the Wonder? When he said that, I just lost it. I was just like, okay, here's my world traveling moments right here. I got to do this right now. And they already released some of the prices, which are, I mean, considering Disney prices, not as bad as I thought they could be.
Okay, because my first thought was pricing, something like that. I haven't had a chance to see the pricing. I've been kind of busy. So I will take a look.
Just to go over real fast, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. 13-night South Pacific cruise from Honolulu to Sydney, Australia, Ocean View Veranda. Okay, not Inside Saver, Ocean View Veranda, $4,030 for two people. Doesn't that sound... I was expecting more, but that's okay. And then as a 15-night, not 7, 15-night, South Pacific, Sydney to Honolulu, going the other way, with stops in Fiji, Pago Pago, American Samoa, for a ocean view stateroom, no veranda, you're talking about $3,300 or $3,400. To me, that's not that bad. It's not that bad.
That seems incredibly well priced. That is an incredibly good price point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're thinking that it won't be as popular as the ones coming out of Port Canaveral, which I guess makes sense because maybe not as many people can take off that many days, or not as many people can fly that far and don't want to. I don't know, but to me, I'm like, okay, so when can I book this?
Yeah, it is a really exciting step for Disney Cruise Line. You know, the more ships they get, the more they can start taking on the whole world. I mean, someone next to me said, are they going to say Antarctica? That was interesting, but there is no, eventually, Disney Cruise Line may go to Antarctica. So you just don't know.
I was expecting more of them to go to the Mediterranean stuff, send more to Europe, because there's a huge cruise industry in Europe, and it's just like if you send more to Europe, I feel like that'd be better. Because I know you were on the Dream when it was the Dream, right? When that was over there, or was it the Wonder that you were on?
It was the Magic.
The Magic. Oh my gosh, I missed that one. Yeah, Magic's goes to Europe right now, right? But it's one of those things where it's like I feel like there's a bigger market there rather than Australia. So another question that I have, which I know they didn't answer, was will this be the final destination for the Wonder? And I doubt it.
No, don't forget that in Australia, New Zealand, that part of the world, there is no Disney park. So the Australasia crowd, this might be their connection to do something Disney.
Great point. I hadn't even thought about that, because I know there are friends who are in our community who are like, oh, Australia, we need something. This could be that opportunity. They see like a huge market of people who really want to do something Disney, and then the cruise comes. So that's a great idea. Cruise at sea right there. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right. Any other excitements that happen on the floor before we get to kind of the final topic here that you felt and wanted to share with all of us? Because I know there's a lot that happens all at once, but I can only imagine like the feelings of people around you, other thoughts you heard from others. Did other people that you were around, did they have a good time too? Were there any other follow-up thoughts that you heard that, make sense as we're talking about this?
I think what I really took away from D23, the panels and the announcements are fantastic, but walking the show floor, you realize how how there is something for everyone within the Disney universe. And by that I mean, when you look at TV, everyone thinks Disney Plus. No, it's not just Disney Plus. It's ESPN, it's Hulu, it's ABC, it's FX, it's all of those things. It's then Disney Living, it is Disney Weddings, it's Disney at Home,
Right.
it's the collaborations they have, the different merchandise from Loungefly to Funko Pop, all with these stands. And then you've got those that are there for the nostalgia and the history with the archives and the presentations for everyone. You've got, for theatre lovers, Disney on Broadway. It's endless. So you don't have to love the parks at all. And so you are gonna, it's every section of the community. Disney seems to filter into everyone's lives in a different way, and that's what I took away, is how eclectic it is. And then the cosplay, I had seen it online, but yeah, I had seen images online and things. When you see it in person, the skill and dedication that goes into these costumes,
They work on them for years. They work on them forever.
yeah. But I will say, I have randomly had conversations with so many people this weekend. The Disney community is predominantly made up of wonderful people. Disney fans are a wonderful group of people. Everyone is there because they love something in this community. You have an immediate conversation starter. I have made so many connections.
I love it.
Over these 3 days, and the cast members as well. You know, I always say about cast members, I'm always bigging up cast members, but there is a community feeling. You're standing in lines, but no one's mad because you're all in it together, from security lines to being in giant halls waiting for panels. It's this wonderful way to connect with people. Disney does that.
And they do it so well. And the last piece that I wanted to touch on here that I thought was really interesting, at the end of the parks panel piece, they had this commercial that they ran. And my guess is that there were very few dry eyes in the convention center, especially online. There were very few dry eyes. But this goes back into, and this is where I kind of want to kind of see where the future of Disney lies, where it's that, again, I'm mentioning for like a third time here, that that turning of an era, where that's kind of what they were built on, right? And they're kind of trying to get back to it. Did you feel when you were, again, on the floor, you felt like that's what others took away as well, where Disney's trying to focus on that again, that feeling, that emotion, that ability to touch the ethos of your heart?
They definitely did that. You're right. There wasn't a dry eye. I mean, you put a sweet child having a character moment. Everyone just, oh.
I know.
But I have every few years seen them do a campaign like that. Going back to Year of a Million Dreams and those moments, they do like to put those moments out. So I didn't feel this was part of a new effort. But I do think Disney strategically always places a way to pull on the heartstrings, you know, remind, you know, the people, you're gonna have these wonderful heart-filled memories. You just come be with us.
Right.
You will have magic too. So it is a common Disney thread. I know the magic has felt a little bit thin on the ground in places. It's reminding everyone the magic is always there with Disney. If you just come and be a part of it, in the parks and those moments. Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Claire, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I mean, it sounded like an amazing time. I want to get to D23 at some point in the future and sharing it with everybody. But man, it was so much fun to watch live and then to hear your thoughts after. Really do appreciate it.
You are very welcome. I'm going to sleep for a week when I go home. But I will cherish some things.
There it is.
Forever.
There it is.
Forever.
Years to see the 100 years too.
Yes.
I love it.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Before you know it. Thanks so much, Claire. Talk to you real soon. Thanks as always, everybody, for being a part of it. Means a lot. Special thanks to our patrons for making it all possible. And until next time, have a magical day. We'll see you real soon.